officer was using for a traffic stop. From a driver attacking an officer in broad daylight to a situation where an officer had to open fire to prevent being run over, or when a suspect vehicle caught on fire during a chase and the driver refused to exit the police officer was conducting a routine traffic stop when something happened that he would remember for the rest of his life.
Bravo, 70 rescue, 70 units, accident, right here, Tide Parkway, South Braddock. My cruiser was hit, driver was hit. I'm trying to check on injuries.
A driver from oncoming traffic lost control at speeds of 120 miles per hour, swerving into the officer's lane and crashing into the BMW the officer was using for a traffic stop. Thankfully, the officer was not injured and the BMW driver escaped with only minor injuries. On August 9, 2024, in Pinellas County, Florida, a Florida Highway Patrol trooper spotted a vehicle linked to a meth trafficking suspect. When the trooper activated lights and sirens, the suspect failed to stop, initiating a pursuit. The trooper immediately informed other units to assist in the chase. The suspect began driving recklessly on a busy highway, weaving through traffic and showing complete disregard for the safety of other drivers. Despite the dangerous driving, the troopers remained close behind, trying to bring the pursuit to an end. The trooper successfully brought the suspect's vehicle to a stop. For the next few minutes, the suspect attempted to flee by slamming on the gas pedal, but his vehicle was blocked by a patrol car and couldn't move. Realizing he was trapped, the suspect then attempted to flee on foot, making a run for it. In Willoughby, Ohio, on September 10, 2022, Officer Stacy Wright stopped 64-year-old David Kubek for speeding on Lost Nation Road. Kubek exited his car without being asked, ignored instructions to sit down, and escalated the encounter by pointing his finger near Officer Wright's face and pushing her.
I'm not sitting! Back off! Back off! I'm not sitting! Put your hands behind your back. I will tase you, sir. Touch the vehicle. Put your hands up the vehicle now!
Kubek continued to defy Officer Wright's commands, resulting in a physical struggle. A passing citizen noticed the commotion, stopped their car, and jumped in to assist the officer, ultimately helping to resolve the situation and save the day.
Radio 7 units. Roll over on your stomach now.
4 citizens stopped after witnessing the roadside struggle and immediately jumped in to help restrain Kubek. They held him down until additional Willoughby police officers arrived. Kubek was arrested and charged with assault on a police officer, resisting arrest, and speeding as he was clocked, driving 57 miles per hour in a 35 miles per hour zone. On January 17, 2021, Trooper observed a black Jeep traveling 89 miles per hour on northbound Interstate 85. After activating lights and sirens, the Jeep continued speeding, tailgating, and swerving dangerously. The driver attempted to lose the trooper, pulling away after forcing another vehicle into the emergency lane. Trooper realized the driver had no intention of stopping and decided to close the distance to the vehicle. The chase ended when Trooper performed a pit maneuver on Johnston's vehicle, causing it to spin off the road and come to a stop on the east shoulder of Interstate 85. After stopping, the Trooper approached the vehicle and ordered the occupants out. 5 individuals exited the vehicle, including Johnston, who was then taken into custody. On September 7th, 2023, in Ocala, Florida, when a Marion County Sheriff's deputy spotted a gray Toyota van driven by wanted sex offender Todd Marchesano at the intersection of US 27 and North Pine Avenue. Deputies had been searching for Marchesano due to his failure to comply with sex offender requirements. When the deputy attempted to conduct a traffic stop, Marchesano refused to pull over, initiating the pursuit.
Stop. All right, we got to get it right here to the left stop, please. Get it at the left stop, please.
The chase ended when deputies used a pit maneuver to stop a gray Toyota van, causing it to roll over on Northeast Jacksonville Road. Driver Todd Marchesano, who suffered minor injuries, and passenger Tina Marie Nabafeld were pulled from the vehicle and arrested. Marchesano faced charges including driving with a suspended license, while Nabafeld was charged with felonies related to stolen cemetery vases. The incident marked the conclusion of the pursuit and their arrests. Little Rock police officer pulled over a suspect who became uncooperative. When the officer instructed him to exit the vehicle, the suspect suddenly drove straight at the officer.
Get out. Get out. I'll explain to you in a second. Get out. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Dude, get out of the car. Get out of the car. He's refusing to get out of the car. Dude, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car, dude.
When the suspect hit the officer and carried him on the car, the officer opened fire in self-defense.
Get out of the car! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Don't move! Don't move! Get up! Put your left hand up!
The driver later succumbed to his injuries in the ambulance while his girlfriend was arrested at the scene. Fortunately, the officer escaped unharmed. The chase began on Tuesday, June 18, 2024, in Riverside, California. Officers from the problem-oriented policing team were conducting an area check for a vehicle reported stolen in a carjacking earlier that day. They located the stolen vehicle, occupied by Eddie Madrigal and another male passenger, along the 6600 block of Palm Avenue. When officers attempted a traffic stop, the driver failed to comply, turning into an apartment complex and driving to the rear of the property, initiating the pursuit.
I'll call you back.
The pursuit ended when the driver, Eddie Madrigal, stopped the carjacked vehicle at the rear of an apartment complex and quickly exited while holding a loaded .22 caliber handgun. In response, a POP officer fired 4 shots, striking Madrigal once. Officers immediately assessed his injuries and called for medical assistance. Madrigal was transported to a local hospital where he remains under arrest and in custody while receiving treatment. He's awaiting transfer to a detention ward at another medical facility. The chase began on January 24th when David B. Moore, 50, allegedly tried to entice a 13-year-old girl and was confronted by Marysville police. After the police attempted to stop him in his van, Moore failed to comply, and a pursuit ensued. The chase spanned several miles, reaching speeds of 80 to 100 miles per hour on Delaware Avenue and US 33. During the pursuit, Moore's van caught on fire, prompting him to stop. Despite the fire, Moore refused to exit the vehicle and officers had to physically pull him out. Fortunately, no injuries were reported during the chase or the fire. Moore was arrested and charged with failure to comply with the order of a police officer, with more charges potentially pending related to the child enticement. In Tampa, Florida, on July 17, 2023, officers responded to reports of a woman stabbed. The victim suffered 13 stab wounds and was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, but is now stable. Police identified the attacker as 33-year-old Michael Bresnahan, who stabbed the mother of his children while their 3 young kids, aged 2 to 6, witnessed the horrific act. Officers located Bresnahan's vehicle shortly after, and when he pointed an AK-47 at them, a pursuit ensued.
181, let me get him in front of us, please, vehicle 1.
November 247, Kilo Golf, contact departure.
Traffic is still light for Del Mabry. You still got, pretty heavy traffic at the intersections.
See if we get stops.
Kennedy. Del Mabry and Kennedy. He's going to go eastbound now. Eastbound Kennedy from Del Mabry. He's going northbound Glenn from Kennedy. Northbound Glenn from Kennedy.
During the pursuit, another officer positioned themselves ahead of the suspect and deployed spike strips to bring the chase to an end.
And Gray now, continuing northbound on Glenn. Northbound on Glenn from Gray.
Right, kind of officer, I think 2 blocks ahead. All right, the officer 2 blocks ahead. He's coming to you. Set up those spikes. Well, he's coming up those spikes now for the units behind his vehicle.
He might have caught one edge of it. Now he's going to be eastbound on Cypress.
An officer deployed spike strips ahead of the suspect, but Bresnahan managed to avoid them and continued fleeing at high speed.
Coming up to Rome at the bridge. Alright, crossing over the bridge. Still probably 40 miles an hour. It looks pretty dry. Got a light rain. He's coming up the boulevard shortly if anybody over there.
So there's going to be Tampa.
Next major's going to be Tampa if we got anybody up that way.
I'll see Hodge or so.
Cut around. He's going to go northbound on Highlands. He's going to be coming up to Euclid now, northbound Highlands.
After a lengthy pursuit, officers finally managed to bring the suspect's vehicle to a stop, ending the intense chase.
Signal 4, Florida and Gladys, Alright, the other car is out of the way and ran. They're out of the area.
18 Tampa police officers discharged their weapons, responding to the imminent danger posed by Bresnahan. Authorities believe Bresnahan died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, though final autopsy results are pending. The involved officers have been placed on paid administrative leave, as per standard protocol. On August 3, 2024, in Indian River County, Florida, what was supposed to be a routine traffic stop quickly escalated. The driver, who was speeding above the posted limit, failed to stop when the trooper activated the emergency lights and sirens, initiating a high-speed pursuit. After a pursuit on the main road, the suspect veered off, leading officers on an off-road chase. The suspect sped down a dirt road, but the trooper knew it led to a dead end if he kept going straight.
Sit right there, bro. Let him run. You're good. Just come over here. Why are you guys running over some dumb? There's a speeding ticket. Just lay on the ground right here, all right?
The suspects reached the dead end and came to a stop. As the trooper caught up, one suspect briefly fled on foot but quickly returned. Both were arrested without further incident, bringing the chase to an end. From a suspect who led Lufkin police on a wild pursuit through a cornfield, to a biker who thought he could outplay an Arkansas state trooper, to the moment LAPD officers chased a cyclist on the freeway after he shot a family member. Lufkin police engaged in a pursuit involving a woman who had stolen a blue pickup truck. As she led officers down a dirt road, quick thinking came into play. An officer successfully deployed spike strips, deflating her tires and giving law enforcement a clear advantage in managing the situation right from the start.
104, take the fasten side towers, line down your front of spikes. Okay, how are we doing? She took a ditch, she's now driving through the cemetery.
A second deployment of spike strips proved even more effective, causing the suspect to lose control of the stolen pickup as she re-entered the roadway. This critical move by law enforcement brought the pursuit closer to a safe resolution.
52 coming up Dudley Road.
The woman struggled to maintain control of the vehicle for nearly a minute before swerving off the road and crashing into a pole. Officers quickly approached, arresting her without any further resistance. This dramatic chase came to an abrupt end, thanks to their swift response and strategic use of spike strips. On October 5th, around 6 p.m., an officer attempted to stop a vehicle he had encountered earlier in the week, knowing it had an expired license. During the stop, it was discovered the car was reported stolen. The driver, Matthew Aldrich, took off, leading officers on a chaotic pursuit. We don't see pursuits like this every day. This suspect thought that cutting through a cornfield would be his ticket to freedom, but his reckless attempts didn't end there. He took his dangerous driving into residential neighborhoods. The chaotic pursuit came to a dramatic end when the driver recklessly drove into a deep ditch. Both the driver and his female passenger bailed out of the vehicle. While the driver managed to escape at the scene, the female passenger, identified as Shelby Ann Dieterle, was apprehended. She claimed not to know the driver but was taken into custody and transported to the Wood County Jail. As for the driver, Matthew Aldrich, 43, he was later arrested in Seneca County on unrelated charges. Fostoria Police Chief Gabe Wedge confirmed that once the investigation concludes, additional charges will be filed against Aldrich for his role in the pursuit. On September 12, 2019, Edward Hopkins of Houston and another man identified as Tony Mitchell, 42, of Houston, robbed First State Bank of Louise at gunpoint. The men fled the bank with an undisclosed amount of cash. DPS received information that Hopkins was in the Lucan area, headed north on Loop 287 in a black Dodge Challenger RT. Police say officers attempted to stop a vehicle. As officers attempted to box in the suspects, they quickly escaped by accelerating at high speeds. This reckless decision to flee would prove to be one of the worst choices of their lives.
Like back up, so if I have units there on River Bridge, that'd be a good spot for times. Right now, at high rate of speed.
Shortly after accelerating, the suspects lost control, veering off the road and crashing into trees at a high rate of speed.
Right on the top doors. Now the fire is out. It's confined to the motor. I'll be jumping the suspect.
As the officer exited the vehicle and began searching for the suspects, both men succumbed to their injuries after the horrific crash. This tragic outcome serves as one more reminder: never flee from law enforcement. On July 27, 2023, Trooper William Robbins was positioned in a stationary patrol when a biker zoomed past him at an alarmingly high speed. Reacting swiftly, Trooper Robbins engaged his patrol car, activated the lights and sirens, and began closing in on the speeding motorcyclist.
Unlicensed motorcycle.
The biker initially accelerated in an attempt to create distance, but then slowed down upon realizing Trooper Robbins was in pursuit. To add to the suspense, the rider even signaled as if intending to pull over. But was he truly planning to comply, or was it just a deceptive move? Let's find out.
Going down here at exit 4. We're here at Festival Street. He's motioning like he's going to stop. We'll see. You better stop. You better stop.
Well, it turns out the biker was just toying with the situation. After pretending to pull over, he suddenly accelerated, taking off again. Trooper Robbins quickly informed other units that he was now in pursuit. Looks like the rider thought outrunning the ticket was a better option.
City unit.
What color is the bike?
It's in black and red.
The trooper stayed right on the biker's tail, maintaining relentless pressure, despite the biker's desperate attempts.
He's in a residential area.
Yeah, Temple.
What kind of speed you get?
I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna shoot you.
We're at Park Mall right now. Back on President.
Okay, we can get you stopped there pretty quick and he knows getting reckless.
Sooner or later, reckless driving always catches up with you, and for this biker, it was sooner. His desperate maneuvers finally led to a critical mistake. It's almost unbelievable. The biker, after all his reckless actions, still had the audacity to remind the trooper he was being recorded. But it didn't matter. His escape attempt ended the moment he crashed. Trooper Robbins wasted no time, leaping into action and restraining the biker, leaving no room for further escape. The chase was over and the biker was promptly arrested and taken into custody. On November 20th, 2024, Trooper was traveling south on US Highway 63 when a white Nissan passenger car passed by with what appeared to be an expired license sticker. The trooper turned around to verify the tags, only to realize that the driver had accelerated, reaching speeds of over 85 miles per hour. The trooper then activated the lights to conduct a traffic stop. The driver made an abrupt turn onto Harmony Church Road, prompting the trooper to notify dispatch that he was in pursuit of the white Nissan passenger car. The suspect was driving at a dangerously high rate of speed, exceeding 100 miles per hour in a 40 miles per hour zone. Trooper remained close behind, carefully monitoring the situation, waiting for the right opportunity to bring the chase to an end as quickly and safely as possible. Trooper managed to get closer and executed a pit maneuver, sending the suspect's vehicle into a ditch. The suspect then exited the vehicle and fled into the woods, leaving his cell phone behind. He was later identified and faces multiple charges, including felony fleeing, felony criminal mischief, fleeing on foot, speeding reckless driving, leaving the scene of an accident, failure to obey a stop sign, failure to report an accident, driving on a suspended license. On October 10th, 2023, instead of paying a ticket, one driver decided to test the Arkansas State Troopers. Now, we all know how skilled they are and that they show no mercy for suspects like this. But let's see how this one plays out.
Here we are.
Arkansas 362, Union David 362, Union David. It's going to be a goal.
The driver initially pulled over to the side of the road, but as soon as the trooper exited their patrol vehicle, they took off, fleeing the stop. If there's one thing that's certain, it's that moves like this only make the troopers even more determined and furious.
Run around the median. Or back. Northbound 67. One pit.
Around the median.
Second pit.
Let me see your hands! Say hands in the air! Hands in the air!
Well, this is exactly how you end up when you challenge Arkansas State Troopers. Swiftly stopped and taken into custody.
Now, put your stomach on the ground! Put the stomach on the ground! Put your stomach on the ground! Put your stomach on the ground! Hey, we'll get you there, but listen! You quit!
On August 13, 2024, an FHP trooper on patrol in Palm Beach County, Florida, observed a white sedan speeding and failing to maintain its lane on 45th Street. The vehicle, a 2018 Chevy Malibu, fled when a traffic stop was attempted, leading to a pursuit. A pit maneuver was performed to stop the vehicle, preventing further danger to the public. Jackson was apprehended and found to be in possession of marijuana. He exhibited signs of impairment, such as slurred speech and poor balance, but refused field sobriety tests and did not provide a breath sample. He was transported to the Palm Beach County Jail and charged with fleeing and eluding, reckless driving, DUI, operating without a valid license, and possession of marijuana.
L&C 911, number 556.
I'm here to make a report on an adult. He has a weapon on him. I really got shot by him.
When did you get shot?
Just a couple minutes ago.
Okay, you need a paramedic?
No, I don't need a paramedic. My mom's already taking me, but I just need to make a report on him.
In Los Angeles, California. On April 26, 2024, Northeast uniformed officers responded to a shooting investigation. Upon arrival, officers determined that the suspect, identified as 24-year-old John Lopez, had shot a family member following a verbal dispute and was no longer at the scene. Shortly after a crime broadcast was initiated, an air unit located Lopez riding a bicycle south on the 5 freeway.
Roger, at the scene. Was there any casings or victims? 11:42:01, roger that. There was a victim hit and there were casings recovered.
¿Qué se cansa? Ya que se tayo, me tiene que casar.
Not on baby confession. And who got the unit? Baby information for the unit.
Lopez eventually exited the freeway via the Mission Road off-ramp, continuing to ride his bicycle in and out of traffic. After turning north onto Daly Street, a Hollenbeck officer strategically used his patrol vehicle to strike Lopez, causing him to lose control of the bicycle and fall onto the roadway. Lopez was immediately apprehended without further incident. He complained of pain in his knees and was treated at a local hospital before being booked on charges of attempted murder. The victim, who had sustained non-life-threatening injuries, was held overnight at the hospital for observation. Thankfully, no officers or community members were injured during this pursuit. A small caliber firearm was recovered at the scene as Lopez was taken into custody. On Tuesday, June 20th, 2023, Conway Police Department alerted Arkansas State Police about a pursuit involving a brown Ford Explorer within their city. Shortly after joining the chase, Trooper Ronald Grace took over as the primary unit in the pursuit. As soon as Trooper Ronald Grace joined the pursuit, he executed a precision TVI maneuver, bringing the suspect's vehicle to a stop. Troopers quickly exited their patrol cars and arrested the suspects without further incident. In total, there were 7 occupants inside the car, 4 of whom were juveniles. On November 22, 2024, Troop A Dispatch advised that Garland County Sheriff's Office was in pursuit of a vehicle, a red-colored Mitsubishi Mirage. Trooper observed a vehicle matching the provided description, a red Mitsubishi Mirage, traveling west on U.S. Highway 70, with a Garland County deputy actively pursuing it. Trooper turned around and quickly caught up to the pursuit, traveling behind the deputy until Trooper received verification that they were requesting the assistance of Arkansas State Police.
Highway 70.
As soon as Trooper Justin Parker was en route to assist and took over the pursuit, he executed a successful TVI, bringing the suspect to a stop. The suspect was arrested without further incident. The Garland County Sheriff's Office took custody of the suspect, identified as Brian Dawson, and transported him to the Garland County Detention Center. As a result of the TVI on the fleeing suspect, Trooper's patrol car sustained damage to the front bumper and fender area, with the cost of the damage still unknown at this time.